welcome to
Yeti.
Walks into Base Camp. We're your hosts.
I'm Yeti Legs.
And I'm Base Camp.
And this is our podcast.
Welcome to our base camp.
If this is the first time that you're listening in, we are a married couple. We've hiked a couple trails together.
A few.
We've done the PCT in 22, the Tour de Mont Blanc in 22. I did the Colorado Trail last year in 23.
Yeah, and then we've done a good bit of like weekend backpackings, like, week-long stuff, just traipsing around Colorado. We do a lot of winter backpacking, snowshoeing. Mountaineering, we've kind of put a hold on until we can actually go and mountaineer again, because it does take money and time.
It's a rich man's sport.
It's a rich man's, woman's, rich man and woman's.
It's a rich human's sport.
Human sport, yeah. Can't be canceled culture.
No cancel culture. Yeah. Have you noticed that you've been seeing the word humankind a lot more?
Yeah.
Not mankind?
Yeah.
It's kind of fun.
Listen, power to the woman. Power to the woman.
Look. Behind every great man is a great woman. And that great woman made that great man. That's how you need to look at it.
I mean, that's our story, isn't it?
That's our story, at least. If you have different sexual preferences, there's
then
a great person behind you, whoever you are.
Behind you,
or at least a great dog, because we have Loba. And
yes,
Loba makes us better people.
Yeah, we've got a lot of Loba stuff going on right now. Well, I guess we should get into talking about our episode.
Yes. So a couple weeks ago, I sent out a few questions or a poll in our Instagram story asking people, hey, what do you think would be best for the 2024 thru-hiking season to hear about? And also, what do you want to hear about? And some of those top categories were hiker hacks and what else was it?
Resupply towns.
I think one or two people said leave no trace, but we're going to do one on that anyways because I feel very passionate about leave no trace.
He loves it.
And today's episode was also one of the categories: water sources, water filters, and just everything to do with water and
hydration.
Hiking.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about that today. We actually have two guests coming on our episode, and we have already interviewed them before we recorded this. And each interview went so great that
amazing.
We're going to have to make this a 2-part episode. Otherwise, it's going to be super lengthy. So,
which is not, I mean, we do lengthy
stuff
thing anyway, but this we feel like it's got a lot of information that we want people to really, like, we're very passionate about the environment, passionate about the leave no trace and all the things that we can do in through hiking to help the environment. Mm-hmm. So we really feel like these two people that we interviewed, they brought that to the table, but it was longer interviews than we expected. So we definitely are going to put this into a 2-part.
Yep. And the second part is not going to have like a drink of the choice or Cotton World updates or whatever.
We're just going to get into it.
We're just going to cut this whole episode in half, so it's not super lengthy. Sorry, Tumbleweed. I know you like your 3+ hour episodes, but this is going to be a 2-parter. So our two folks that we interviewed, one represents Sawyer products. So the infamous, no, not the infamous, that's a bad word. The famous Sawyer squeeze filter that everybody has at least heard of in the hiking community, even if you don't use it. And also we have a rep from CNOC. We've actually been corrected. It's CNOC, but spelled CNOC.
A lot of people say CNOC. We did for a long time.
Yeah.
We found out it's CNOC.
Yep.
So there you go.
And also their other sister company, which is called Diorite, which makes trekking poles and other equipment like that, which
carbon
is
fiber,
completely unrelated to water and water filtration, but something you definitely want to hear about. Stay tuned for those awesome interviews that we had. Lots of cool information and some great detailed plugins there. Yeah,
it was a lot of fun getting to interview them, and both incredible people. One from Sawyer, one from, really, it's called Minimal Gear, and that's CNOC is actually under Minimal Gear, but a lot of people just have heard of CNOC Outdoors. So we dive into that as well with them, and we really hope you guys enjoy. We for sure did. So
yep. All right, here goes the first interview now. All right, so we are here today with Katie Houston, aka aka Oats. Sorry, y'all. Oats. I've been sick, so maybe it's affecting my brain a little bit. But Katie is going to be one of two guests that we have on our episode today. And just to give you a little brief background on Katie and who she is. She originally worked for the Trek, which is where we first met her, and now she works for Sawyer as their community manager.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up, right? She has over 3,000 miles plus of thru-hiking experience, and she has a husky named Thru. And I guess we really just want to know, what do those 3,000 miles of thru-hiking experience break down into? What trails?
Yeah, totally. I graduated college in 2018 and always planned on doing the AT afterwards. So hopped on in February of 2019, and that was my first thru hike. My degree is actually in geology. And so after I did the Appalachian Trail, I was like, I got to figure out how to pivot my entire life to do this now. Because it really was just, I really, really loved it. It really clicked as a passion for me. So then I ended up living at Woods Hole Hostel for a time before COVID. I was supposed to be there the whole hiking season, but when the hospitality industry shut down, I moved to Texas. Ended up doing the Lone Star Hiking Trail, the Colorado Trail, which was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
About 2 years ago, I did the Appalachian High Route. I kind of got back to the East Coast because I'm an East Coast baby. I was born and raised in Asheville in the Southern Appalachians. And so I really, Jennifer Farr Davis kind of pioneered this 330-mile route that makes a loop, starts and ends in Burnsville, which is this beautiful little mountain town near Asheville.
Love Burnsville.
Yeah, it's beautiful, huh?
Gosh.
They got some good rocks out there too. Some good kyanite,
awesome.
some good muscovite. But yeah,
Geologists.
I don't know if you know, Wesley also is. Oh wait, no, it's ecology. Sorry, never mind. JK.
It's a different ology.
It's still rocks, but
Yeah.
But yeah, I did that 330-mile loop in 2022. Ended up moving back to Asheville in January of last year, and since then, last year my dog did part of the long trail with me, and then I finished out most of it after I put her in boarding for a bit. She's got like 100-mile limit. That's kind of her sweet spot. And then this fall we did the Foothills Trail together, which was awesome. Yeah, and now I'm just kind of fitting in whatever adventures seem to overlap with trail festivals, and when I conveniently can take time off. And like we were saying before we hopped on, like I really love these kind of 1 to 3 week adventures right now. I think eventually I'll get the Triple Crown. Eventually, it's on the list. Everything is on the list.
I was gonna ask.
Yeah, everything's on the list. But truthfully, I couldn't be away from my dog that long anymore. For sure, she's a really good dog. So, and she doesn't want to hike that long. So, just kind of playing it by ear this year. I really am not entirely sure what's next, but always stoked.
Can you also tell us, what is your role with Sawyer?
Totally. I am Sawyer's hiking/lifestyle community manager. So I manage our Sawyer squad, which is kind of our hiking community. We have the blog, and I run all of our social media platforms. Mostly lots of partnerships, both with individuals like creators like y'all, really talented creatives, or oftentimes we get organizations reaching out to have product donated for raffles or fundraisers or gear. And oftentimes we're constantly just networking with people. So one connection leads to another, leads to another, leads to another. And we're just trying to keep up with everyone that reaches out. It's a pretty dream job, honestly.
Yeah. Are you a part of the Backpacker Radio giveaway?
Is that going on right now?
Yeah.
I don't think so. We have a relationship with Backpacker Radio. We sent them to AT Days last year. Hopefully we'll do the same this year. And obviously Zach is like the whole reason that I'm in this industry, honestly, because I got started with the Trek, and actually Sawyer reached out to him to see if he had somebody in mind that would do a good job at community engagement.
No way.
And
that's so cool.
Zach gave him my name.
Oh, perfect.
I'm eternally
what a
grateful.
Perfect. Yeah.
He's so
Dude,
so
Zach
sweet.
is Zach is the man.
Mm-hmm.
He is.
Yeah.
And
so cool. Yeah.
Chance just did the Foothills Trail with her dog, which is exactly what
Yeah,
Thru and
I
I
know.
did a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh man,
so
that's so great.
They're super sweet people. I don't think we're in the giveaway. We kind of we don't really send out emails very much, and so giveaways that involve emails to be sent out, we typically opt out of. So yeah, we did the Badger sponsorship. We were one of the title sponsors for that. I think
Heard about that.
the
Yeah.
sponsorship tier is king size candy bar, which I think is hilarious. But
Nice.
raised over $20,000 for Leave No Trace this year, which is so cool.
Oh, that's so great.
Amazing. Amazing. So thankful that Leave No Trace is just becoming more and more accepted, I think, in our community and continually just growing. I love that.
And sweet baby Jesus, it needs to.
Oh,
this is getting out
yeah.
of control.
Oh,
Come on.
yeah. Very grateful on that front. I think a lot of the shame is coming out of the conversation and a lot of education is going in. Like, I think there's just a tone shift, which is really nice to see, because that's like, actually what's going to change behavior for the better.
Yeah, that's good.
You're from the East Coast. Have you heard the saying before that honey attracts more flies than vinegar?
Absolutely. Did you quote that in one of your articles recently?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
I think you wrote an article about Leave No Trace for Sawyer. Everyone go check it out on the blog. But
Hey,
yeah,
it's
whenever
shameless
they
plug.
release it.
did we
No,
release
yeah.
it yet? No.
I don't think you have.
I don't
Sorry,
think so.
clearly I'm not as caught up as I thought I was, but
It's okay. Maybe they'll release about the same time the podcast and the.
ooh, you're
one
talking
to
to the
the
right
other.
person. I can coordinate
There
that.
you go.
We can
Yeah.
coordinate that. That would be awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, everyone go check it out, because it'll be out when this does come out.
Perfect.
Yes, if you didn't know, also that Yeti Legs is an incredible writer and super stoked that he's getting more and more opportunities to get to use his pen and cultivate that. So definitely go check out. Sawyer's been putting blogs out with his name on them, so go check him out.
Big Sawyer. I think I'm a passable writer. But
No, I
Not
think you're a good
Great.
writer.
I genuinely love your
Well, thank
pitches and your pieces. They're
They're
very
creative.
fun. And I love that you're collaborative. I really enjoy that it feels like we are working together on it instead of like it's one way or the other way. And, I feel like just on a personal level, like it's just a joy to work with you.
well, I think it should be. This isn't corporate America.
It's not.
Like,
It's not.
you need to talk with each other.
Totally.
No
Mhm.
one has the
Yeah.
final say, really, until you sort it out. But
Mhm.
Yeah.
there's one last question I wanted to ask you before we get into our question set for you. You said that you carry around a D20 die.
Yeah.
Could you please talk about that?
Yeah, totally.
And for those of you who don't know what a D20 die is, can you explain what a D20 die is?
Absolutely.
It's super nerdy.
It's super nerdy. I know this is an audio medium, but I just pulled out my trusty D20. It's a little metal
Actually,
dice.
we're going to put this on YouTube too.
Oh,
so
video.
for those of
So it's
you,
perfect.
another plug, go to YouTube to check this out if you want to see this die.
Totally. It's she's beautiful. And it's a metal dice. It's 20-sided. It's one of the pieces for Dungeons and Dragons, the tabletop role-playing game. If you don't know anything about it, it's basically collaborative storytelling. And truly there is just a huge there's one person that makes the world that the other people are playing in as characters. That person plays all of the non-player characters, and you get to make the plot, but it's also dependent on the player's decisions. It's just a very fun improv storytelling, collaborative, silly game.
Yeah.
So the D20 means if you get a 1, you fail whatever you're trying to do. There's like an element of luck, which also mirrors life, which is funny. And then if you get a nat 20, then you get a critical success. You basically did the thing. So it's always very fun to just, I got a 5. That's not very good. This doesn't bode well, but my friends and I always joke, like, we have a +0 to concentration because we all have ADHD, or we have,
Oh my gosh.
we have a
That is
-1 to
amazing.
opening jars. Yeah, it's kind of funny.
She has a -5.
Now
for
you
that.
said
Ah,
I have a -5. Yeah, I am so bad at opening
Yeah.
jars. I was gonna say, you said she. Does your die have a name?
does she have a name? She doesn't have a name. No, I just love using she, her pronouns for inanimate objects.
That's
But
amazing.
It's perfect.
no, actually, I have a camper that I got like 6 months ago, and it's my baby, and I haven't settled on a name for her either. So I'm kind of,
Oh man.
I don't know, but we'll
Yeah.
see.
You have time.
Okay.
I got time.
Yeah.
I got time.
Yeah,
It's a
you
metal
got time.
dice. This is gonna be here long after I am.
And so what's the purpose for carrying this with you everywhere you go? And do you carry it when you go backpacking? Because that's space weight.
Ooh,
No, it
good
is space
question.
weight. I've never carried a D20 on a hike. I might have to start though. And sorry, what was the first part of the question?
No, I'm just wondering why you even carry it around in your day to day.
I'll give you an example. Honestly, it's just for the bits. It's for me and my friends, like making jokes. So the other day we were all at our favorite coffee bar, and my roommate ordered vanilla latte, which was her second drink. And I was like, "Hey, if I get a nat 20, will you chug that drink?" And she
That is
said,
amazing.
and she said, "Yeah, why not?" And I got a nat 20. That was a 9. I'm really not rolling well today, but I
okay.
got a nat 20, and so she did. And we had her just jokingly roll a Constitution saving throw, which is like what you would roll in the game. It's one of the mechanics. And she got a nat 1, which was just very cute and funny. It's just very good for the bits. There's no real yeah, and
That's
sometimes
amazing.
we'll use it to make decisions if we want to like go somewhere for dinner, or
That's a great idea.
making somebody go
Yeah.
do a chore. Like if it's a 1 through
That's
10,
a
you
great
do it.
idea.
If it's an 11 through 20, I do it. Yeah.
After she chugged the latte, did she poop her brains out?
A wonderful question. The answer is
We
probably.
love talking about poop.
Oh yeah, it's a
Probably,
thru-hiking
yeah.
podcast, of course.
It
It's
is.
tough, right?
We
I
have
mean,
an episode coming up just about poop.
Just
so.
about poop
Yeah.
stories.
Just
Wonderful.
about
we're going to
poop.
talk about our poop stories. Any questions people have? Yeah.
Everyone's
Well,
got a
I
poop
was-
story.
I was going to say we should get some of this dye because whenever we take lobe out at night, because we're so tired at night, it's like, who wants to take lobe out? So we rock, paper, scissors it. But this would be a funner way to do it.
It's
She just
pretty
says this because
fun.
she always loses at rock, paper, scissors.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
See, if you go on trail with one, don't get a metal one because it's like a couple grams, you know?
I was going to
Yeah.
say that's pretty heavy.
Yeah,
Get a little
right.
cheap plastic.
Exactly.
Hey, if you put it in like a hip pocket, it doesn't count towards base weight, so you're good.
Exactly. It's not. It's
Yeah.
worn weight then,
Put it in
right?
a fanny pack.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
just to show you guys, that's my dice corner. Those are all my roommates and I's dice. All those little test tubes and stuff each have a different
Oh.
dice set. So they're they start with a D4, which is like a little pyramid, and they go up to the D20.
This is amazing.
I am so impressed.
Whenever we're in North Carolina, we'll
We-
come say hi.
Please do. We
seriously
can do
need
a
to
little
hang
one
out.
shot. I'm literally talking about that with Sawyer, like the team and our ambassadors, like when we get together for something, like doing
Yeah.
a little
Yeah.
one shot, because none of them have played, but they're all very
yeah.
interested.
I'd play too. I've never played before,
It's
so that would be a lot of
fun.
fun.
Yeah.
Awesome. Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, sounds like we're going to have
Dude.
to play.
Yeah.
I know.
Done and done.
Because we got married in North Carolina anyway.
Yeah, we
so
did. We got
That's
married
right.
in yeah, West Jefferson. Well, north of in West Jefferson. So very, very north.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
Oh yeah. North Carolina is very dear to us. If we didn't move to Colorado, we would have moved to North Carolina easily.
it's
Yeah.
a good
Easily.
place. Well,
Yeah.
Western North Carolina. No shade to Piedmont and coastal, but the mountains
No.
are. It's very different.
Yeah.
Very different.
Yeah,
across
it
the
is.
state.
For sure.
However, the Mountains to Sea Trail does sound a little painful with all that road walking.
That's true.
Ooh.
I did so the 330-mile loop trail that I did, the Appalachian High Route in 2022, includes the first 3 segments of the Mountain to Sea Trail from Clingman Stone to
Oh.
Mount Mitchell, and then
Yeah.
it hops on the
Oh.
AT. It's beautiful. Those segments, there's only, I want to say, like less
Stunning.
than 10 miles of road walking in like the 140
Mhm.
miles. So it's totally, and it's on the Blue Ridge Parkway. So even just that little segment, I'm kind of like, ooh, I got my favorite part done.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Have you ever heard of the ultra race Hellbender?
Yes.
It's a 100-mile race. So I was training for that race before COVID shut down. I got in and I would go up to North Carolina every single weekend and I'd go run those trails, like do 27, 30-mile runs, just like on those trails, like Mount Mitchell, the whole ridge. And they are some of the most stunning, hard-ass trails. Like they're intense.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Epic.
I love that that part of the world. It really feels like home to me.
Yeah.
But the mountains to see over in Linville Gorge fucking sucks.
Really? I haven't done the
Oh,
mountains
yeah.
to see over there. I've done like
He hates it.
specific hikes, but why?
Hands and knees crawling.
Oh yeah,
up,
we were straight the fuck
leaf,
up. Like
leaf covered hills, like sliding backwards,
Oh,
thigh
the-
deep in mud.
the mountains
Yeah.
to see through there. I don't know much about that. I'm gonna have to look into it. And
You should
bring
check
some
it
knee
out.
pads, maybe.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's one of those like if you really want to hurt, go do that one.
I do love type 2 fun.
Yeah.
You're talking to the right person.
That's type 2. There it is.
We're all type 2ers here.
Yeah. I think we just love that.
Yeah.
It's like okay.
Should we get to the episode?
Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
So yeah, the whole purpose of this episode is to talk about water sources, water filtration, because we sent out a survey on our Instagram for plug-in for the Ginger and the Joy, but also for our podcast Instagram, Yeti Walks into Base Camp.
Which is new, so
And-
go check it out.
Go check it out. One of the top topics that people wanted to hear about was water sources and filtration. So here we are, and we're talking to one of the experts here, representing Sawyer. And Sawyer hits close to home with us because we've used Sawyer Squeeze on all of our thru hikes.
Love, love, love.
So we want to ask you a few questions about what you do with Sawyer. We've already done your intro and everything. So let's get into it.
Let's
Sounds good.
do it.
The first question is yours.
I thought you were doing odds. I was doing evens.
Well, I've already asked her that first question.
Roll
Okay,
d20 about
fine.
it.
Oh, I'm sorry. that was the first question.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah.
Sorry, baby. Okay, next question. So how long have you been with Sawyer? Which you did say this actually. You said you've been with them for 13 months now. But which of their products are in your current hiking gear loadout? Which ones do you use?
That's a great question. I have a Squeeze, which is the workhorse model water filter. I like bringing it to all the trail festivals that I travel to. I get to do AT days and Pacific Crest Trail days. And I just got back from the AT kickoff at Amicalola Falls in Georgia. That was so much
so
fun.
beautiful.
But I love having my filter there on my smart water bottle because you can see how like totally wrecked it is and how used and loved it is. And occasionally I get to like demo a really good back flush if I haven't done one in a while. So Squeeze definitely, permethrin definitely. That's our gear and fabric treatment, insect repellent. I use that. Well, I have a Mary Poppins supply, so I use it on literally everything. Like my tent. And
we do have a Mary Poppins bag just for your Sawyer products that you pull out.
I actually took out the shower in my camper, and that's where all of my Sawyer product lives. So anytime I drive my camper around, I've got like everything I might need to hook somebody up with stuff.
Oh?
It's pretty
That's amazing.
It's pretty rad. But I also use it for my dog. It's her flea and tick medicine, or her flea and tick treatment. It just goes on her fur and bonds to her fur like it bonds to the fabric and
really?
clothes. Yeah. I actually prefer it to the like medicated flea and tick treatments because those take the tick biting the animal to work. And usually what happens with us is we go into the tent and they crawl off of her and crawl onto me. But with the permethrin, they just have to walk across an inch of fur and they start the dying process and fall off, which is super rad. And it's also just, it's super easy. Once every 6 weeks, or it's 6 weeks for ticks and 30 days or 34 days for fleas. So I just once a month, check it off my list, spray her down from her tail to her neck, and then take her on a walk, and she's dry and she's good.
I think that same stat I've seen on your site for shoes, right?
Yeah.
You put it on your shoes, they crawl off like 1 inch and they're gone.
Yeah. Ticks are kind of gross. They take, which we all know, but they take like one breath every 10 minutes. And so that's why it takes like an inch of crawling across something for them to breathe in the permethrin and start the dying process.
Wait a minute. They take a breath every 10 minutes?
It's something ridiculous like that. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, they're kind of gross.
Fucking ticks, man. Okay.
We actually worked with Celia Binder, who's this really incredible like graphic designer. She did Miranda Goes Outside, like her kind of swag and stuff. But last year for Lyme Disease Awareness Month, she helped us make a little comic about ticks and how permethrin can help, keep them off of you. And she was trying to take a like ecological approach at one point of like, a blue jay is getting a pack of tick cereal and that's what he's eating and that's their ecological role. Like she was trying to find some ecological purpose that they serve, like mosquitoes are food for dragonflies, that kind of thing. But ticks are just pointless, pretty pointless.
They're vermin.
Yeah.
Right.
Pointless.
No one likes them.
Yeah.
Fun fact. So ticks have a 3-year life cycle. And they have to have 2 blood meals in order to reach full maturity to where they can actually lay eggs to make babies. So they're born, they'll feed, they'll like grow and overwinter. So they usually like pack underneath the snow and they'll just stay there. And then they'll get up the next year, and then they have a 3-year life cycle. So it takes 3 years for them to like finally lay eggs and make babies.
Really?
So that's multiple blood meals per tick. Isn't that crazy?
I mean, here's my question is, what is the purpose of a tick in the ecosystem? That's my question.
I do not know of one.
I don't think
what
there
do they
is.
serve?
Yeah, that's kind
Can
of
we
what
just
Celia
kill them
was
all?
saying. Yeah, they don't really do much good for anybody except vector-borne disease.
Yeah, I mean, at least mosquitoes are pollinators,
right?
And food
that's something.
for other things,
right?
Right.
Yeah.
But animals don't even eat ticks.
Or if they do, it's not a significant portion of their diet. And so taking them out of the ecosystem wouldn't eradicating them wouldn't necessarily have disastrous ecological consequences. Kind of love the permethrin for that.
And that's another thing too. People think that ticks are like lying in wait and they're going to just kamikaze drop on you. That's not what they do. They're sitting there and they have little sticky legs, and whenever you walk across or a deer walks across, they stick to you.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not like dropping from trees.
They're climbing from grass.
Yes, and snakes are not dropping from trees either. I've heard people think that too.
I bet in the jungle in the Amazon they do that.
Just the clumsy ones.
Just the clumsy ones, I think. Yeah.
Okay, wait. To go back to what else do you put or keep with you? I know you said you've got the Sawyer squeeze and you've got the permethrin.
Yep, I use
permethrin.
Yep,
I can't say it.
I got my Sawyer squeeze on a smart water bottle. Got the permethrin that I just treat before. It's not actually something I carry in my pack.
I was curious. Okay.
Yeah, I do carry picaridin in my pack. That's our like topical insect repellent. I really like the lotion. It's longer lasting and more effective than DEET, and it's also. My dog's wooing. It's also sensory wise just a more enjoyable experience than like a chemical bath and like, oily bug repellents. I actually didn't start using picaridin until I hopped on with Sawyer, and I had been using DEET and just taking 100% DEET chemical baths and big old head net, and that's how I did all of my hikes up until I realized like, oh, I could do this once a day and it's a lotion. And then I'm good and it's effective. Like that was pretty cool. On the long trail, I took like 6 of the little 4-ounce bottles of the picaridin lotion, and it was black fly season. It was gnarly, and so I was just handing them out to people that looked miserable on the trail.
Black flies are the worst.
Oh wait, does it help with black flies too?
The picaridin is effective against biting flies. The permethrin is not. That's actually one of the main differences in them. They both are effective at repelling / killing 55 plus types of bugs, but a distinction is that the permethrin does not do biting flies. The picaridin does. So we recommend using them both.
That's good to know.
Yeah, for complete coverage.
Okay.
But
I mean, that's a really good thing to know because I wish we had it on the PCT when the biting flies hit, because it's less like mosquito repellent doesn't work.
And the permethrin that is a treatment, but the picaridin is a topical lotion for yourself. Okay.
Yep, that's right.
And to this, I have a question about this later, but let's just go ahead and knock it out right now because it's great. When I hear permethrin and picaridin, I think chemical. Can you explain that these are not chemicals and what they are?
Yeah, totally. Permethrin is derived from the chrysanthemum flower. Pyrethrum is the natural insect repellent of the chrysanthemum flower. And so we have a synthetic version of that. That's the active ingredient in our pharmaceutical grade permethrin. So if you've heard about permethrin being used like agriculturally or in the military like decades ago, often ours is a pharmaceutical grade, so it's just a premium, like more pure version, I guess.
Okay.
The picaridin, the active ingredient, is the natural insect repellent of the pepper plant, which is pepperin.
What?
So that's the active ingredient we use in that one. And they're both, picaridin especially is really nice because it's safe on gear. It's not going to like dissolve your gear. It can be used.
Important.
Oh, very important. Especially for like hunch fishers that have like gear that they're constantly like fidgeting with. But it can be used on kids 6 months and older and pregnant women. So it's just very family friendly. And the permethrin is really nice because once you treat your clothes or your dog or what have you, once it's bonded to the fibers in your clothes or the fur of your dog, it doesn't come off except with the UV exposure of the sun or the agitation of a washing machine. So it's not going to come off on you if you're crossing a river or you're excessively perspiring or in a rainstorm or something like that.
Wow.
Okay.
It is totally bonded. The only thing that's going to degrade it are the UV exposure or the washing machine. So that's why we say 6 weeks of UV exposure or 6 washes in the washing machine. For thru hikers, we know which comes first.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let me correct what I said earlier. So chemicals can be naturally occurring. So they're naturally occurring chemicals. They're not in vitro. They're not like synthesized by some scientist in a lab. They're inspired by nature and synthesized based on that inspiration.
Can you say that again? Chemicals are not. So Wesley's also a chemist, by the way. So this he knows what he's talking about. But chemicals are not bad. Natural.
You can have a completely synthetic chemical that was cooked up in a lab by somebody, and then they did a lot of testing with it. Or you can have like these naturally derived and inspired chemicals, like what Oats is talking about.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's probably not super easy to get large concentrations of the stuff from chrysanthemums. So of course they would try and synthesize it in the lab, but it's what already occurs naturally. They're just making it.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
It's not like DEET or
where it's just full of chemicals.
Because I've used DEET and I feel sick after I put that stuff on my body.
I feel I'm smelling. I'm like breathing in bad stuff. I can tell.
Yeah.
And let's think about this. Even we were talking about leave no trace. This is a really big topic of leave no trace. It's like when you're sweating off these chemicals, they're going into the ground. It's not good for the environment either.
There's a big discussion.
I know you've said that.
There's a big discussion right now in the outdoor industry about forever chemicals like PFAS. Meg Carney just released a big podcast like series about forever chemicals specifically in like the outdoors. Very, very interesting. But Sawyer does not have any forever chemicals at all in any of our productions,
which is huge.
Yeah, this is why we're seeing a big change from the materials they use for raincoats.
Yeah, exactly.
And for waterproofing.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Well, that was a good little tangent, right?
Good little rabbit hole.
Is there anything else in your pack that you take with you besides those specific things that you can think of for Sawyer? Just to give new thru hikers or seasoned thru hikers?
Yeah, so the other thing I would kind of recommend, I think some of your other questions kind of get into this, but I want to empower people to do whatever, like honor their own process with how they manage their water on trail and how they like to do it. If somebody is telling you you are wrong for using a squeeze in a certain way, they're probably just gatekeeping. So like using it on a smart water bottle, using it in a gravity system. Like I have a CNOC bag, which is this like flexible plastic that you've made one. I've seen your cool little trail engineering that you've done to get a gravity system going. But
CNOC will actually be the other interview.
Yeah, we love CNOC.
We also love CNOC. That's awesome. But I like having a gravity system at camp because then I don't have to like sit there squeezing the whole time. But depending on the hike, sometimes I just go with the smart water bottle. Usually you have a dirty and a clean. It's hard to find a wrong way to do it, to be completely honest. Like, it can be used in line with a bladder. And the thread size on a Sawyer filter is universal. It's 28 millimeters. So that's why it fits on smart water bottles, Life water bottles, Coke bottles, that kind of thing.
I love that.
Yeah, so the two main mouth sizes you'll see in the water filtration world are 28 and 42. 28 is the smart water, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. All right. So here is a question, and this is a touchy subject, I'm sure. But the Sawyer bladders. Let's talk about these.
Listen, I have answers.
Okay. People either love them or they hate them.
Totally.
So we originally started out backpacking with Sawyer bladders. We realized they weren't for us. So we went to the CNOC, and we loved the CNOC Sawyer hybrid. First of all, what are the bladders made of? What's the material? Because they're kind of a stiff, rigid plastic. Do you know?
That's exactly what I would say. It's kind of a stiff yet flexible plastic. They're made to be rolled, so you can fill them up with dirty water, put your squeeze on it. It's got that 28 millimeter thread. So dirty water in, squeeze on top, or mini or whatever filter, and then meant to be rolled. Where was I going with that? Can you repeat your question? Sorry.
Oh yeah, I'm just curious,
like
what it's made from, the bag. Yeah.
Totally. Like you said, stiff rigid plastic is about as far as I can.
No, that's okay.
I can venture to. On the topic of like trying to give advice for new backpackers, it's really nice to have a rigid bottle option like a smart water bottle and a soft bag option like a flexible, because there's oftentimes that it will be difficult to collect water. If it's not like a raging river or a stream, it might be a puddle, and you might find having something that you can scoop is really important. So having a bag on you is always fun, but I know your complaint. I assume I know your complaint. I'm gonna guess it because honestly, it's kind of mine too. It's the durability, and they often burst or leak. So interesting
at the mouth.
At the mouth
every time.
So interestingly, they are actually intended to burst at 7 psi. Because it's kind of a fail-safe, because any greater than that, any PSI greater than that being shoved through the filter could potentially damage the fibers and make it not as effective. But the so if it is bursting at 7 psi, it's probably a sign that it's time for a good back flush, or you might be squeezing too hard. Like often
I probably squeeze them too hard.
He squeezes it too hard.
Yeah, my thing is the O-rings. That was my like big thing when I started, or the washers when I started using Sawyer filters, because they would always fall out of the bottom. But then I realized I was cranking it down onto the smart water bottles, which was causing it to warp, when really all it needs is like a snug fit. So those are kind of my favorite things to be like, no, there was actually a reason, and there's actually potentially a solution. But and I also use the CNOC bags on trail. I just like them.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with using something else. I
will say though, in ultra running, those bags are better for me, because if you're doing a 30-mile day running, you need a supply source for water. You're not going to take out there because you're sweating so much when you're running.
3 liters.
So, easily 3 liters. So it's like whenever you see a water source, you need to. I actually used the smaller Sawyer when I first got into ultra running, and it was very lightweight, and the bag was really lightweight. So I was able to connect my like little straw to my bladder into filtering it, but I just think that that's a place I did use it, and I appreciated it because it's lightweight, and it was like, and it's small. It packed into like a super small runner's pack, versus hiking. You're out there every single day. You're like, you can't let your pack, your bladder blow out or anything like that. So yeah, little different thought there.
Yeah.
Totally.
I was like, oh yeah, I remember when I first started running, I was like, I used the Sawyer bag and it was great.
Wait, you just said something. You said 3 liters. Talk more on that. You said 3 liters in like terms of sweating.
Ooh, you might actually know. It sounds like you know something very particular, like statistics based. Whereas I'm going to talk out of my butt. But
no, talk out of the posterior.
Totally. The odds of being dehydrated on trail are very, very high, even if you're very good about staying hydrated. You just sweat a ridiculous amount. Typically on trail, I'll drink a liter every 5 to 10 miles, and it totally depends. And that's definitely not enough. But I'm always kind of constantly looking ahead for water sources. And I always like to have about a half-liter buffer just to make sure that I can make it to the next source. Actually, when I started the AT, I was using iodine tablets. And so it was like February. And so
You're not supposed to use those regularly.
Well, I learned that quick. I was really impatient.
Yeah.
That's truly what got to me. I would get to a stream and you would have to wait 30 minutes, and then you're carrying your water, and 1 liter of water is 2.2 pounds, I believe, just over 2 pounds.
Yeah.
A pint's a pound the world around. That's the saying. Pint's a pound.
I love that.
But yeah, it makes such a huge difference. I had an overuse injury after my first 2 weeks on the AT coming out of the Smokies. I got really severe Achilles tendonitis and had to seriously reevaluate my gear. And that's when I switched over to Sawyer.
Okay.
Hey, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Look at that switch.
I was like, what's that blue thing that everybody has?
I know, right?
We're in your same boat though, because we use Aquatabs, chlorine tablets, to chlorinate our water.
Mm-hmm.
We're so lazy half the time.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, just fill, drop, 30 minutes. Like, you're good.
Well, and it's more like if it's beautiful water or it's like snow water, snow melt water or something like that, then we're like, let's just chlorine tab it and go.
Yeah, but if you're pulling like cow pond water, you need to filter, tab, and flavor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
What's I want to ask you guys a question. What's the worst water source you guys have encountered?
Oh God.
Ooh, I think the one that's coming to my mind and on the PCT, remember that one where we had to go underneath? It was in SoCal, and we had to go underneath that cistern thing, and it was like green and like we had to, I think there was like a dead animal in it or something.
You have like a 1.5 foot clearance to crawl underneath the awning.
Yeah. I don't know if you remember that. Oh wait, you haven't done the PCT yet, right?
It's on the list. I'll make sure to avoid it.
It's one of those where it's like, and you need it too, because I think that the next water source is like 20 miles. I mean, it's like one of those where you're just in between and you're desperate, and you have to like crawl under this cistern thing, and it's just green and it's just gross.
We're following some people who are doing the ACT right now because we would love to do it if we can't find the time. But there's a clawfoot bathtub.
I've seen
some of
that
these
one
pictures,
recently.
and it's filled with stagnant water.
I think Carl, Professor, just posted a picture of
that.
Yes.
We've been following his journey on it right now, and we're like, oh man.
I think the worst source that I remember, just like off of a long trail, was here in Colorado. It was from a cow pond.
I know what you're talking about. Like, if it's on the Colorado Trail, I remember a gnarly cow pond. No,
this was in the Dominguez Wilderness.
We did a loop trail of 40 miles in the Dominguez Wilderness. Yeah. Oh, it was bad.
It was the worst, and it was the last source for like 15 miles.
Like we had no water.
You know how those go.
Yeah, and it was just like this stagnant, disgusting cow pond where you could see cow shit everywhere, and like it was bad.
But I know what you mean. The 30 miles of cow pasture on the CT. Yeah, that's it. It's terrible.
I love that.
That's what I filtered, tabbed, and flavored twice.
I don't blame you.
Yeah. You could see the cow shit like on the shore of the little creek.
I got kind of lucky. Yeah. It was like, kind of lucky, give and take. It was pouring when I went through, so it was kind of like flushed out,
Yeah, a little diluted.
Yeah,
okay.
Right? At least there's a bit of a flow going.
Yeah.
At least there's something.
That's a great segue to the other half of my question. Flow. So with the Sawyer bladders, it's really hard to fill those up without flow. You were talking about using a cup. We actually used our dog's bowl the other day to fill them up. Do you have any like strategies for people using those bladders and how to get that initial force to pop out the bottom of the bag and start filling it up?
If they don't have another water bottle or no other source.
Yeah, totally. This might sound gross, but I'm a thru-hiker. I just kind of put my hand around it and blow through my hand. So like not my mouth touching where the dirty water would be, but I just blow some air in it, and typically that works okay. But truthfully, if there is a source that you are struggling to get water into the bag and you don't pivot to another tool, it might just be pretty hard.
Okay.
So I have seen people take their smart water bottles and cut like 3 little inches off the bottom so it makes a little cup, and then you can scoop into the bag. That's a great strategy. And like I said, having a hard-sided option that's smaller and a, something like the Vector or like the CNOC Vector that you can open into a big bladder. Yeah, there's just different strokes for different folks. This is also where I'm going to be like, honor your process. Like if you're, if you're hiking through Colorado and you're up at the snow where the snow melt's coming down, you're probably not going to need to worry about it. But if you're on the Lone Star hiking trail and there are puddles, yeah, that's and you're scooping, that might be a little harder.
Just hope a pika didn't poop in your nice water flow in Colorado.
When I called
or a marmot.
Oh yeah, when I did the Colorado Trail, Thru did a couple segments with me, and I called pikas through nuggets because she kept trying to get them.
I bet.
Her prayer
We've been
was
talking
nuts.
about that. That's exactly what we've been talking about with Lova, our husky, as well. Is like when we get her up into the 14ers once the snow melts, she is just going to go nuts with these pikas and marmots.
And the marmots too.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. Okay.
It's your question.
I know. So we talked about. You mentioned briefly about filter care. So wanted to talk more about if you'll go into detail about the backwashing and the sleeping. The first question or first part is, can you provide some insight into how long a Sawyer squeeze can last if backwashed and cared for properly? So let's talk about that, and then we'll move into the next part.
Because Sawyer boasts a lifetime warranty on the Sawyer squeezes if you take care of it.
We do. We absolutely do. We actually have some very, very awesome research coming in. So I know we'll get into this in the back half a little bit, but we've been doing international work. Sawyer's been doing international clean water projects since 2008, and one of our first charity partners, Water with Blessings, now Water by Women in Honduras, started their work in that country distributing water filters, and they celebrated 15 years of, they had a quinceañera. They celebrated 15 years of clean water in Honduras, and Miranda Webster told a really beautiful story about it on her YouTube. But there are folks that have been using one Sawyer filter that they got 13 plus years ago every single day for their families. And the Water Women program specifically includes other people in the community too, not just your own family, but using it every single day, back flushing it every day, and it's still just as effective. And they're still not getting sick. The diarrhea reduction rates haven't gone up. And these are
amazing.
90% diarrhea reduction rates, which is really, really impactful for community health. But yeah, it could last you a lifetime. Just a good solid back flush whenever it needs it should restore up to 98% of the original flow rate of the filter. And truly as long as it doesn't have any physical damage or it doesn't freeze, like you mentioned, it can truly last you a lifetime. It should.
How many times would you suggest backwashing is the question, like, especially when you're through hiking?
Yeah, this is also kind of up to you. It's your comfort level. I'll give you some information to help you decide. I did it about 4 times on the Appalachian Trail. I would recommend probably doing it more because I was getting kind of frustrated with the flow rate and I just wasn't making it a priority when I went into town. But typically what folks do is through hikers, as you're town hopping and you see hiker boxes, there's a little plunger in there that, comes in all of your Sawyer filter kits. And just whenever you're in town, just make it a habit to do a good back flush and your flow should stay good the whole time. Okay. It's up to your personal preference. It also kind of depends on the water sources you've been having. If you have a water source that has had a lot of sediment in it, or a very mineral rich water source or something like that, these are all kind of factors that go into that. The folks that use it every single day for clean water, for many people, they are back flushing every day. But truly, you can bring a filter back from the brink pretty often. Like, say you didn't back flush it, you store it, you take it out of storage and it kind of has a fungal smell because it was still wet. Like you can soak it in a little bleach mixture and backflush it, and then it's good to go. If there's, like I said, a mineral rich water source, you can soak it in vinegar and backflush then, and that helps break up a lot of the minerals that can gather on the fibers. So there's a lot of like techniques and tricks and stuff. I'm the one in the Sawyer DMs. If anyone has trouble and they're like, my filter, I'm happy to give out some backflushing tips.
Okay.
But truly, the biggest part of backflushing, the most important thing is force. So you want to force the water through as hard as you possibly can. The plunger will not reach a PSI that could potentially damage the fibers, so you don't have to worry about it. But you're forcing the water the opposite direction through the filter to dislodge all of the sediments. Often you get like a good brown sludge coming out if you haven't done it in a while. Very satisfying. But yeah, make sure you're really going nuts with forcing the water through, because that's what's really going to make it an effective backflush.
For sure. And also, like, choose your water sources wisely. Sometimes you don't have that luxury, but if you have multiple sources like feeding into a larger body, and the larger body is full of silt, maybe choose one of the little inlets instead of like the giant silty garbage water.
Totally. I've seen people do a pre-filter where they have like a bandana that they'll put in between their filter and their bottle.
I'll do it with a shirt.
Yeah.
I've done that.
That's fine. You can catch like big pieces of leaves and stuff like that, like before it even goes in the filter. It's not necessarily like cleaner water coming out, but it is gonna, help you extend your use until you need to backflush it.
Okay, so then on that note still of filter care, so like we talked about this when, it freezes. So it doesn't work pretty much after it freezes. But would you mind talking about why it's important to sleep with your filter on cold nights? What happens if water in your filter freezes? Can we just, I'd say talk more about that. Especially living in Colorado, we deal with a lot of, under 32 degrees Fahrenheit. So
we've all frozen a
Sawyer
filter.
site.
Yeah.
But Sawyer says 33 degrees, doesn't it?
Does it?
It says 33. Yeah, it says 33F.
I would say freezing. I've been taught freezing. So yeah, I'll hop into the tech behind it. So the Sawyer filter is a hollow fiber membrane. It's a physical separation by size. So that's why it does filter out things like bacteria, protozoa, cysts, and 100% of microplastics. But it doesn't filter out things like dissolved metals, like chemicals and viruses, because those are really, 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 really tiny. If the virus is on a host, like a vector, like a bacteria, then it does get filtered out. But if it's just free in the water, that's pretty rare. So you're pretty rarely going to encounter anything that you wouldn't be able to filter out with the Sawyer filter, at least here in America.
So you're saying if someone with norovirus pooped upstream, the filter isn't going to get that out. So have chlorine tablets with you.
Is that why everybody got sick on the PCT in our year?
Well, see, I'm going to get a little gross and a little sciencey. if
do it.
Perfect.
That's like E. coli bacteria that would be making you sick, right? And the virus would technically, like the norovirus would technically latch onto something in the poop. Like it needs a vector, the viruses, they need a host. And so it doesn't last long in water. It's actually kind of difficult to get a virus from a water source just because of how viruses function.
Because they usually aerosolize, right?
Yeah.
You usually inhale them.
Yeah, and touch as well, like going to a picnic table and a shelter and, sharing food, that kind of thing is a really, really common way to get noro. That's why like hand washing is super important when there's an outbreak. But going back to like the filter freezing, so it's by size. These fibers are taking out anything that's bigger than 0.1 absolute microns, which is industry setting. Most of the other hollow fiber membranes, I believe, none can claim the 0.1 absolute. They can claim up to 0.1 absolute, but not necessarily like they use nominal, which is 1 power degree bigger. So we have one more 9 at the end of our what we can filter out. But what happens when you have a wet filter and it freezes, there's water in between those fibers, and the water expands when it freezes. That's why I think just freezing, like freezing temperatures, that's when you should sleep with it. Or if you think it's going to be, it's going to get that to that temperature, just go ahead and sleep with it or put it in your puffy. But when the water freezes, it expands permanently that space in between the fibers. And that means that things bigger or bigger than 0.1 absolute microns are getting through the filter and could potentially make you sick. So it's just not as effective anymore. Yeah, we've had folks ask, like, is there a way I can tell if my filter has been frozen? There's like a bubble test that folks do with other filters that our engineers don't necessarily say is effective. But the test to get the filter tested to see if it's as effective is more expensive than a new filter. So we're kind of like,
so you might as well just buy one.
Yeah. So if you suspect that your filter has frozen, just better safe than sorry. It's probably time to get a new one. Everyone's frozen one. But thankfully it literally is as easy as putting it in your bag and, keeping it from freezing.
Keeping it close to your body.
Yeah. On that note, if you're traveling with a Sawyer filter, it is okay if the filter is not wet, because there's nothing in there that's going to freeze, right? So if it's a dry filter, if it's never been used, you're fine. But if you're traveling and like it's a wet filter, like make sure you take it in the cabin with you instead of putting it in checked baggage, because it could freeze under the cabin.
That's a good little tip right there. Travel with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It can go through security. So
yeah.
I guess the other test to know if you froze it is if you get sick about a week or two later.
That's
you probably
true.
Froze it.
That's true.
Yeah. Not fun.
Not fun.
Yeah, that's good. I think you're the next questioner.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to skip this question because we've already talked on it. This is all about the insect repellents.
Which was great, by the way. I feel like I learned a lot too.
Yes.
So.
And you kind of just touched on this a little bit, but what impacts or contributions, including humanitarian programs, is Sawyer working on or working with?
Yeah, so Sawyer's actually a family-owned company. It's based in Safety Harbor, Florida. It's a pretty small team outside of like the manufacturing. And Kurt Avery, who's the owner, it's our 40th year. Happy birthday, Sawyer! But
happy birthday!
Once he got the hollow fiber membrane technology optimized, he wanted to give back, and he donates. Sawyer donates 90% of their profits to clean water work around the world. We have over 140 charity partners working over 80 countries. There's transformational programs, which are like the Kibera slum in Nairobi, Kenya, has 400,000 people and 78 bathrooms. And they did not have access to clean water. And Dan Becker kind of helped us tell that story of what our charity partner there, the Bucket Ministry, is doing. And now they've raised the amount of money that they need to finish the project, which will now complete in the next couple of years. Every single person will have access to clean water in Nairobi, Kenya, because of Sawyer Filter. So we have those transformational programs, which are really like meeting people where they are, really trying to improve access with a sustainable solution. We also have disaster relief. So a hurricane, an earthquake, whether it's here or abroad. We were in Hurricane, I want to say Fiona in Puerto Rico recently, and the earthquakes in Turkey, Syria, and then here in the United States too, where we can help. We work with the Red Cross and Team Rubicon and lots of disaster relief organizations to kind of provide help on that front too.
So cool.
I love that so much. And I love that. I mean, knowing also that we're buying Sawyer products and this is where it's going. Like, it feels like so much of it is going to help people and help people actually have clean water and not get sick or die. I mean, that's a big deal. And it's wild to think that we live in a world now where that is still something that we're working through, you know, that people don't have clean water, and we're just so used to having it here in America.
It's a solvable, it's a solvable problem too. That's what's so inspiring about it. Like, folks realize it's a solvable problem, and so putting the work into it is making huge impacts for people's actual lives. The programs that we have, like the training and the check-ins with homes, and even the communities that we choose to go into, is all based around the UN Sustainability Goal 6, which is all about water access and hygiene and like sustainable clean water access. And that means like they don't have to travel more than 15 minutes one way to get to a water source. And so we really want to make sure that we're bringing people forward with the technology. If, you know, they're drinking out of a source that is contaminated, we can make a difference there, you know?
Yeah.
So powerful. I love that so much. Well, I guess I have a question, and then I would love for us to, you know, plug in how people can find you, how people can find Sawyer. But before that, is there anything else that you would like to share with our podcast listeners or us?
And do you pronounce it potable or potable water? I say potable because it would be potable if there were two T's.
Wait, is this a thing?
Yeah.
People do this? I didn't know.
It's drinkable water.
I call it potable.
I also call it potable. I haven't heard potable.
Good for you.
Well,
I heard it a lot in Georgia.
Oh,
that might explain
okay.
why.
Well, that
Yeah.
I feel like that explains it.
I think it's potable.
I think it's potable. I think.
Just curious.
Now
Anyway.
I'll say potable forever.
Potable.
Please don't.
Yeah. But is there anything else before we wrap up that you would like to share that, you know, you're thinking about? Or
Not really. If anybody's going to trail days this year, several trail festivals. I'll be at Pinhoti, at Pacific Crest Trail Days, at Appalachian Trail Days, and a couple other random places in between. So don't be shy. Come say hi at the booth. My dog will most likely be there too.
Awesome.
Oh, dog pets.
She's a good dog.
That's awesome.
She's a pretty good dog.
Do you have any thru hikes planned right now?
Ooh, yes, that's the last question I was going to ask.
My next backpacking trip is actually with Jennifer Farr Davis. She's one of our Sawyer ambassadors who
Nice.
held the FKT of the Appalachian Trail for a long time. She's a Southern Appalachian girl too. We're actually from about 1 hour from each other, and she lives in Asheville with her family. I got to see her last week, and she's so sweet. But we're doing a backpacking trip together in April, soon, within a month, from Max Patch to Hot Springs, which is this really gorgeous section. And we're taking a couple of folks that have never been backpacking before. And we're kind of showing them trail culture, because it's going to be right in the bubble of thru hikers, and there will be shelters, and we're not doing too much. It's not distance, and it's not what I would consider a thru hike for me, but it's a really fun little community experience that we're kind of getting to do together. It's a really fun experience, a literal dream come true on my end.
Okay.
Oh, that's amazing. That sounds so exciting. Honestly, getting to bring people into the world of thru hiking who have never done it. We've been talking about that too. We'd love to do start a company like that, just to show people you can do this. And if you've been wanting to do it, here's a little taste or a little easy way to do it to get you started. Yeah. And I just love that.
Totally. My job is also quite easy, because the Sawyer products, water filtration and insect repellents, are both very helpful to break down barriers that people have to accessing the outdoors, whether it's a knowledge barrier, knowing that you don't have to carry 5 liters of water for 2 days, if you just have this one little 3-ounce thing that just goes on a Coke bottle, or if bugs are what are limiting people's enjoyment of the outdoors, oh, there's actually something that can change that for them, which is really cool. It makes my job pretty easy.
Perfect.
Well, I guess to wrap up is where can people find you, whether social media, websites, anything like that? And also, how can people find Sawyer, which but yes, both those plugs.
Totally. I'm Oats. I'm at Oats Hikes on most platforms. I have a website, oatshikes.com, with all of my recent projects and works and stuff, but truly I'm all up in Sawyer right now. I'm really I really pivoted from having a pretty robust freelance business to just doing Sawyer full time, because I actually started as a freelance consultant with them before I went full time, because I wanted to make sure it was a good fit, and it really felt like this was the work I wanted to be doing. So much more in the Sawyer sphere than in my freelance phase, but Sawyer.com has lots of information about products, the international work, and you can see the blog. So you can see the awesome pieces like what Wes has written for us and other members of our Sawyer squad, and even just random things that I've written. The most recent one was for International Women's Day, where we featured 3 of our charity partners that are women-led or women-centered, and they're making really huge impacts in the areas they're working in. So
cool.
it's pretty fun.
Wow. I need to read. I'm glad you shared that. I'm going to read that.
Yeah, totally. It's got a quote from Heather Anderson. She also held a couple fastest known times. She's one of our ambassadors. She went to Uganda in February with All Good, Whitney LaRufa. And Impact Nations was the name of the charity that they went with. And she has been doing some really beautiful storytelling about that experience on her Instagram page. But I was able to pull a really impactful quote that she made about the clean water crisis disproportionately affecting women, which was very interesting. So I totally recommend checking that one out.
Oh, I love that. Thank you.
That's powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
We'll have links to your socials, and
Yes.
we'll have a link to Sawyer.
mm-hmm.
Oats, Katie, thank you so much for being on the show and talking to us about Sawyer products and kind of opening the door for some people who may otherwise be, I guess, opposed to going outside because of bugs or the water issue. So you've helped clarify that a lot. So thank you.
Awesome.
Yes. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks for having me. Y'all are fantastic. I'll always come talk poop stories too. Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh,
poop
yes.
stories. Those are my other topics that I can certainly consult on. Yeah.
We would love to have you back
Perfect.
on.
Awesome.
Wait,
Perfect.
before you go, roll your die one more time for us.
Oh, yeah. Give us a number.
3.
Oh,
It's a bad day. It's a
Wait,
bad day
is
for me and the
under
dice.
10? Is under 10 bad and then over 11's good?
Usually, sometimes you can have a good skill. So I have pretty decent
Okay.
charisma, so I might add 2 to that. But a 5 still isn't quite good.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
I think you rolled a 20 on this episode.
I think so, yeah.
Oh, that's
I
so
know. I think it'll be
cute.
really great.
Cool. Here is the interview with CNOC.
Boom.
All right, this is the second part of our episode on water filtration, water sources. This is going to be Rebecca. Rebecca, I'm going to try and pronounce your last name. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Rebecca Booroojian.
You're right. It's very phonetical. It looks way more intimidating than it is.
Perfect. Rebecca Booroojian, aka trail name Gandalf, is the marketing manager for Minimal Gear, which I had never heard of until I started speaking to Rebecca. Minimal Gear is kind of like an umbrella for 2 other companies. One you will definitely have heard of. One is called Diorite, and the other is called CNOC, or CNOC, is actually how we used to pronounce it, which I know is super wrong.
It about halfway through my interview, and then I made the switch covertly, but that is also how I thought it was.
So it is appropriately pronounced CNOC, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Rebecca, you told me through email that you've done 2 longer hikes, the AT in 2017 and the PCT in 19. This kind of leads me into the first question. Are there any other shorter long trails that you've done that you wanted to talk about? Or do you want to talk about those 2? Because PCT in 2019 was a big snow year.
Yeah, I did go southbound,
Okay.
which actually was the way to do it that year. So I didn't run into any big sort of snow issues. But yeah, those are the 2 big ones I've done. I've definitely done shorter ones. I've done the Tahoe Rim Trail twice now. I'm originally from the Bay Area, so a lot of California trails. I've done the California Riding and Hiking Trail. This is not a long trail, but it's one that's very close to my heart. It's the Skyline to the Sea, which is in the Bay Area. I love it a lot. It was the first trail I ever backpacked. Other than that, I do a lot of kind of weekend trips now, but I call myself retired from long distance backpacking. It's a lot of weekends, a lot of kind of, 1 week a year kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I have the CDT on my horizon anytime soon.
Yeah. It's hard to take 6 months off of life and then come back and reestablish.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I have a cat now that I'm very attached to. I really like my job. I don't particularly have a life I'm super excited about disrupting at this moment.
totally get that. Yeah, we've kind of been diving into these shorter trails a lot lately. And we've been eyeballing like the Centennial Trail in South Dakota,
Oh, cool.
the AZT, which is still kind of a bigger one, around 800 miles, but it's not a 6-month venture. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
that was
Just
my 2020 like canceled trail was the AZT,
Oh,
The
the one that
AZT,
didn't
okay.
end up happening.
got you.
Are you planning on doing that one at some point then, since it was on the horizon?
Maybe I will say we went to the Ruck a couple weeks ago, the one in with All the West puts on. It was in Cascade Locks this year, or Stevenson, and Liz Thomas Snorkel did a like talk on the AZT, and I actually was like, ooh, this sounds hard. I don't know that I really had a grasp on what the AZT was, so still maybe, but I was a little intimidated by her talk.
Yeah. I've seen Liz Thomas snorkel. She's popped up in our Instagram feed quite a bit. Who does she work for? Is she sponsored by like any big names or something? Or
she is the founder of Treeline Review. They review backpacking gear, and they are very. I mean, I realize that I work for a gear company, so I don't know if I'm qualified to say, like, they're very unbiased and like very they take really seriously what they do. It's her and Naomi founded it, and they're also just both prolific thru hikers. Just I mean, if there's a trail out there, one or both of them has hiked it. They hike a lot, and I also think she, for a time, had a speed record on either the AT or the PCT. I think it's the AT.
Okay.
I hope she doesn't hear me not know what it was, but I think that she had a speed record for a time on one of the long trails.
Okay.
I was going to ask quickly, you said you're from the Bay Area. My sister and brother-in-law live in the Bay Area. What part of the Bay Area did you grow up in?
I grew up in the South Bay in San Jose.
Okay. My sister, they live in San Leandro is where they live. Yeah. So I go and visit them often. I love all of those trails. They're just honestly so different than you would think California would be. And just having the ocean right there and the mountains. And when it's green, it's just so magical.
Yeah. I think Bay Area hiking is really slept on. The redwood forests are gorgeous, and you are almost always walking towards the coast, and I just think it's incredible.
Yeah. I'm yet to take him to the redwood forest.
It'll happen.
It's one of my favorite spots. But
she wants to link it to a wine country trip.
Oh, that also. I mean, you can do that all in one go for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
I really strongly recommend Skyline to the Sea.
Okay.
I think it's I think maybe 28 miles off the top of my head. So it's a weekend, but it's really pretty. And they had a fire there in I think 2020, and it was closed for a while. But my understanding it is reopened, and hopefully it goes through an old growth redwood forest, which was where the fire was. But my understanding is it largely survived and is okay.
Okay. That's good to know. Thank you for that little tip. We'll for sure have to do that on like a long weekend or something.
Yeah.
Get our flight points and go.
Yeah, we'll add it to the Wonderland Trail, the Oregon Coast Trail.
I know, there's so many. That's what it's always like.
Yeah.
The Lost Trail. Yeah.
Before we get into our question set, I have one last question for you. So you hike the PCT. Part of it goes like almost through your backyard. What was your favorite section of the PCT? Was it Cali?
Honestly, no. I actually love the desert, which really surprised me. But I think that was a little bit going southbound. You're towards the end. You kind of have that rose-colored end of trail glasses. The Sierra for me was a little stressful. You know, that's the end of your weather window, and you're rushing. I also got Giardia at the very tail end of Oregon. So all of Northern California, which is a rough section anyway, I was not feeling great. My favorite section is actually kind of Goats Rocks in Washington, and just I thought Washington in general like blew my mind. I love Washington.
Yeah, that's definitely my favorite part of the PCT was Goat Rocks. We had this epic, because it was the end of our hike, so we were the opposite, but we had this epic, I don't know if you remember, there's this like overlook where you can see all three You can see Helen, Adams, and Rainier.
It's right after the Knife's Edge.
And it's,
Yeah.
it's like right in that Knife's Edge section. And we could have finished out that day and gone into town. Like it would have been a big 30+ mile day. And I think we'd only done like 17-ish miles. But we hit this spot and there's 2 campsites open. No one has claimed them. And it's probably about 4 p.m. And that's like early at that point in hiking. And but there was a snow melt right there too. So we were like, we have a water source. We have a beautiful epic campsite. We're just going to do it.
Fuck it. Let's go.
Yeah, I would have done the same thing.
Yeah.
I remember
that
that section. I remember someone I sort of was hiking around. I didn't know particularly well. I like got to that point where you kind of can look around and see all 4 mountains. And there was kind of a middle-aged thru-hiker that I had been hiking around who just was like sobbing, like blubbering. He was just so like, I mean, it was a beautiful section. And I get it. It was like a very, and it rained for us all through Washington. It was like a really tough rain year for us in Washington. It was like the first kind of good weather window we got. And it was like this perfect moment for it. So yeah, it was, I remember those campsites. Like if anyone is listening that is through hiking can stay there on a good weather day, like stay there.
Like plan for it.
Yeah.
Camel up if you need to. But
yeah.
Well,
I will say we woke up the next morning. She heard something at night and we saw puma tracks around our camp.
I swear there was
Oh,
a
wow.
puma.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a puma that was like kind of smelling around, and there was a lot of people there too. But you could hear something lurking. And then a guy who was cowboy camping really close to us said he saw one too. I was like, all right, I wasn't crazy. I know. Yeah.
Oh, the PCT.
Well, I guess I'll get into the first question. I guess our second question. But so you work for Minimal Gear and CNOC Outdoors. It's Minimal Gear is the
umbrella name.
the overarching
Yeah,
name.
exactly.
And then you've got CNOC. And then you've got, how do you actually, is it diorite?
It's diorite, which is
diorite.
It's a kind of rock. Which
Okay.
you find here in Oregon, which was one of the reasons we named it.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay, so my question was, can you explain actually what types of products these both are and what they offer people?
To do that, I'm going to explain a little bit about the Minimal Gear, like how this triangle sort of formed.
Do it.
Please.
So we actually have always been Minimal Gear. That's not how the name we've operated under. We've always operated under CNOC Outdoors, so folks don't realize that. But our company is technically called Minimal Gear. And we were founded by Gilad, who's still our founder and our GM, who is very much an inventor first. And so he kind of, our product offerings were kind of this mix mash of like everything that he wanted to create. And we had a very disjointed set of product offerings. So a lot of folks don't know our first, the first product we actually made was trekking poles. And we, in 2019, totally onshored them. We started to making and manufacturing them in the US. We're the only brand, as far as we know, that does that. But also in 2019, we launched the Vecto, and the Vecto just became what CNOC Outdoors was known for. Most folks call their Vecto the CNOC, their CNOC bag. So in 2023, we decided to sort of streamline things a little bit. We launched Diorite to host all of our carbon fiber products. And we sort of streamlined CNOC into just a hydration brand. So everything that's made and released by CNOC is hydration focused, starting with the Vecto, which most folks know us for. And then we have water bottles, food bags, flasks. Everything is hydration focused. And over here on the Diorite side of things is all of our carbon fiber products.
What kind of carbon fiber products do you have under that one?
So we have our trekking poles, which is predominantly what the brand is at this point. And we also make tent poles. We made tent stakes under CNOC. We're going to make them again under Diorite. They haven't quite made the transition yet. And we're going to expand on what we offer. It is really hard to, I think I can say, we are hoping to offer aluminum poles at some point, but it does involve figuring out a whole sort of new material sourcing. We try to source all our materials from the US as well, which is not as easy as you would hope it would be. So we're working on that. But we
Okay.
hope to expand what we're offering. Currently, it's mostly trekking poles.
I really want to try them then because I love carbon. I have Carbon Z Black Diamonds and I love carbon poles. Like I like the lighter type of poles.
She's had it for
So,
like 3 years,
I've
so
ha-
I'm just
yeah.
waiting for it to happen.
It's gonna crack. So when
Yeah.
that happens, I'll come over to yours and check them out.
Cool, you should give them a try.
How much does a pair of carbon fiber poles weigh from Diorite?
Well, we have two different grips, and our cork grips weigh more, especially because we use compressed cork. So it's not a layer of cork around a plastic inner or like a EVA foam. It's just cork. And I'm pretty sure a single pole is 7. You know what? I'm going to Google it. I'm right.
Let's
here. I
Google
looked
it.
up.
Let's Google it.
Do it.
I'm not ashamed of the fact that I don't have our weights memorized. Okay,
It's okay.
weight per pole for a cork pole is 9.8.
Okay.
And for an EVA, which is the lighter option, is 7.4 ounces.
Okay.
So
we're-
19.6 for the cork. You said 7 what?
7.4. So
7.4, so
14.8.
14.8. So less than a
so
pound.
sub a pound. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice.
nice.
And the cork is our more popular offering.
Yeah.
I personally don't. Most folks like it because of the grip feel. I personally don't feel a huge difference between the cork and the EVA, so I do
Yeah.
use EVA.
Okay.
I'm an EVA fan for sure too.
Yeah. I used to be carbon, but whenever we were hiking in the European Alps on the
It's T&B,
T&B,
right? Yeah.
my pole just snapped in half for no good reason. I didn't fall, nothing, just snapped. So I was like, I am gonna go aluminum for the time being because I'm too rough on these suckers.
Yeah,
It
he is. He
I mean,
pounds them into the ground.
Yeah.
carbon fiber is not for everybody, for sure.
Yeah, but it's for her.
But me, I'm just
Yeah.
I am a very careful and dainty walker.
Me
I think.
too, yeah.
I guess I'm out there like on a mission, like pounding
He
my
is.
poles.
It's
I'm
true.
aerating the ground as I'm
You're like,
hiking.
I have to get up this mountain.
Yeah,
Well, when we release the aluminum, those will be for you.
perfect.
That's awesome.
You want to ask the next question because it kind of goes along with the question you just
Yeah, the
asked me.
CNOC. Yeah. Well, okay. So we are officially letting everyone know that's listening that it is not CNOC. We have called it CNOC for years until Katie with Sawyer Oats said CNOC, and I went, wait a minute, it's not CNOC. And so for all of you, this earth-shattering moment, it's CNOC. So CNOC products. With the CNOC products, we really want to know, what do you recommend, especially as the thru hiking season starts this year? What do you recommend for long distance backpackers this season for that? And then with the Diorite, also, what do you suggest?
Yeah, you mentioned the Vecto, which is like everybody's go-to. So
And can you
Yes.
explain the Vecto for people who don't know what the Vecto, I guess, is for CNOC?
Absolutely. So you're probably not going to finish a long trail without seeing one in the wild, even if you don't use one. But it is a water collection and filtration bag that essentially has a slider that opens the back end so that you're not trying to fill through your tiny little 28 millimeter neck bottle opening. Instead, you can fill with this wide opening on the back, and then you can slider it closed, and you can either use it in a gravity setup, you can squeeze, filter. We have the Vecto comes in 2 different neck openings. So we have it in 28 millimeter, which works with your Sawyer filters. Also the Platypus Quick Draw, the Hydro VersaFlow. But we also have the 42 millimeter opening for folks that use the Bee Free. And we actually recommend for thru hikers the Vecto X, which we came out with in October of 2022, just because thru hikers were doing a number on Vectos. So it's a slightly thicker TPU, and it will be more durable over the course of a thru hike. If you're using it daily for months on end, or if you're just really hard on your gear, you probably want to use the Vecto X.
yeah.
That was us. I think we had that one. We got that one, I think. You said 2022. The end of 2022 is when you had it, because
Yeah,
I think we
it
bought
was
that.
October of 2022.
Yeah, because we got that then for the TMB, because we had been using our CNOCs for the PCT,
Yeah.
and then we got one of those, I think. And man, love the CNOC, the Vecto. I actually just always called it the CNOC bladder, but
That's a lot of people do.
Yeah.
yeah, but love it because I really love the fact that you can hang it. You can gravity hang filter
yeah.
it. Man, especially at the end of a long day, you're so tired. You're like, I just want to chill, or I got to set up camp. So let me get my water on this tree hanging while I'm setting up camp versus having to filter the whole time.
Katie with Sawyer was shaming me a little bit yesterday. So apparently I've just been cranking down too hard on all my bladders, which is why I blow holes in them.
He just pushes them down like it's like going out of style.
What's the PSI that the X can withstand?
I could Google it again. I do know we know the answer to this question, but I don't know that I have it memorized.
I think she said that the Sawyer bladders was like 7.
We didn't even know that this was a thing until she said it yesterday. I was like, wait, they all have a PSI where they can tell you what they can handle or whatnot, or
like its threshold.
It's threshold.
Yeah.
The Vecto X has a breaking point of 450 pounds.
Okay.
Whoa.
And I don't remember the Vecto off the top of my head. It's still pretty good. Like the Vecto is still a durable option.
Yeah.
Just thru hiking is really hard on your gear. So
it is.
We decided that a thicker version was necessary.
I mean, definitely, because we used to use the Sawyer bladders, and we blew through those way quicker than the CNOCs. So that's why we even converted in the first place. But also, we love, like you said, that slide bar up at the top, so you can collect water more easily. And we've been diehard CNOC people ever since then.
Is there any other products you recommend through CNOC in this season coming up? Is there anything new you guys have released?
The coupler.
We have released, I do recommend the coupler. We don't make those. Sawyer makes those, but we do sell them. You should get one. They're like the tiniest. They weigh almost nothing, and they make your life so much easier. But in terms of what we make, the stuff we've released this year is not necessarily the most thru hiking focused. We released a range of like flasks that you can use in running vests. We also came out with a line of straws and what we're calling quick caps, which convert the top of our flask so that you can put the straw in them. Folks have asked us this for a long time, so we made what we're calling the quick hose, which is a setup that you can use to turn your Vecto into a hydration bladder. But in terms of things I'd recommend for thru hikers, I definitely recommend the Vesica. This was a product that I didn't even know we made until I started working here, and it's converted me. We are unfortunately out of stock right now. They're having a moment. I think a lot of thru hikers are grabbing them this season. But they are a collapsible water bottle that's roughly the same size and shape as a smart water bottle. We were trying to make an alternative. And then the only other thing. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I definitely want to talk a little bit more on that and TPU and what your products are made of. That's actually going to be the next question. Yeah.
So I'll just quickly mention. It's kind of a niche product. I don't think everybody. It's for everybody necessarily, but we do make a cook bag called the Buke, which is meant to sort of replace. For folks that do freezer bag cooking, which was me, you can use it as a reusable cook bag. And that's definitely found its home for some folks. But it is kind of it is a bag still. So if you're cooking in a pot right now, it's probably not for you. But if you're doing the Ziploc bag thing every day, I would consider this as a more sustainable alternative. And then on the Diorite side, we do recommend our trekking poles for thru hiking. They've definitely walked with quite a few folks from Mexico to Canada. Darwin uses them, and he still has the original CNOC pair.
Wow.
I do try to work that in because our logo has rubbed off on his, but if you see it, he's probably using our poles. They've lasted him quite a while.
That's good to know. Seriously, I'm like, okay, because I know I'm going to need poles soon before we do our next long thru hike. So I'm for sure looking at these then because I'm so glad you said that. I didn't actually know that you made these. So this is great.
But also the food bag, that would be great for cold soakers too, yeah?
Yeah, it actually works great. It was originally, it's gone through 5 redesigns. It was originally just a cold soak bag. You couldn't put boiling water in it. And I do think it works great for that. And now you can also put boiling water in it.
Now, this gets me into the next question. So your products are made of TPU, right?
Yes.
The cook bag, the bottles, the bladders, everything.
Everything
TPU.
is all TPU.
So TPU stands for thermoplastic polyurethane.
Yes.
And we have been highly considering using your 1 liter Vesica bottles. Whenever they get back in stock, I'm going to be the first to jump on them.
It's
But
end of March, just for
end of
folks
March.
that are listening.
Great.
Oh,
End of March. Okay, so
perfect.
soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So be waiting. We want to replace our smart water bottles with these Vesicas. Would you mind talking a little bit to the smart water versus the Vesica use and the different materials?
Yeah, absolutely. And I was going to get in the weeds here, so feel free to
Please
interrupt
do.
me and interject at various points. I do want to say I'm not like the scientific minds of CNOC, but I am probably going to be able to give you the best like plastic for dummies explanation. No one else is giving you the for dummies version. I have gotten the for dummies version because I am the dummy.
Me too, by the way. He's the scientist and I'm a film person, so I'm like, what is BP? I don't know what any of this stands
Hey,
for.
we left the weed eater at home, so
Yeah.
get into the weeds.
To get into the weeds here, the Vesica is made of TPU, which is kind of a soft, squishy plastic. It's opaque. It's not clear. We like it because you can squeeze it really easily. It collapses down really easily. And it's if you've seen it in the wild, you've probably seen it in baby bottle nipples. That's the material that's used there. What I think kind of gets lost in a lot of conversations around plastic is that there's a bunch of different kinds of plastic. It's not like one kind of, it's not the same material every time. And we actually have been getting a lot of questions about what we know about our plastic, what we know about its health and safety, because I think there's been quite a few really excellent studies that have come out lately on the subject. So this is perfect because I'm happy to sort of give my best answer to it. When we were originally manufacturing with plastic, we were looking for like a glass alternative, right? We wanted something that was clear, we wanted something that was shiny, and we wanted something that was durable, that wouldn't break when you dropped it on the ground. And so our first plastic use, we used additives called BPA to make it do that, to make it clear, shiny, and also more durable. And over time, we learned that there was a whole bunch of health issues associated with that. We started using BPS and BPF. It had the same health issues associated with it. It's largely not, I don't want to say it's largely not in use because I actually don't know that, but it's a lot of folks have moved away from it. Nalgene, for example, that's the kind of plastic that uses BPA. They don't use it anymore. They've moved away. So the kind of plastic that's used in disposable bottles is called PET. And it actually is BPA, BPS free just because it's not required in its manufacturing, because it would make the plastic not bend, which you want kind of a smart water bottle to be a little bit flexible. Instead, it has an additive or a chemical called phthalate that leaches similarly to the way that BPA did. And we're still sort of new to our understanding of that's health effect. It is looking like it's not great as well. To bring it back to our plastic TPU, it doesn't actually need BPA or BPF or BPS in its manufacturing. It doesn't need phthalates in its manufacturing because of the fact that it's soft and squishy. It's not trying to be a glass replacement. It's also opaque. It's not trying to be see-through. So it just is naturally free of those things. We have done a study looking at phthalate leaching because phthalates are kind of everywhere. The results of those studies were very positive for us. We did, because we've been asked this so frequently, write a blog on it recently that shows the exact results of that study. So feel free to look at our blog on our website. It's the most recent one if you want more information on that. But in terms of what we know about plastic, which is unfortunately not a whole ton at this point, it does seem like TPU is a pretty safe plastic, especially compared to polycarbonate and PET.
Okay. So you're saying that, and I haven't done research on the smart water bottle, but you're saying that it is BPASF free, but it does have these phthalates that can leach into your water, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
plastic that would try to be kind of a glass alternative would have
Okay.
those additives. But PET is not, it's not manufactured to be reusable, it's manufactured to be disposable, and that's how the FDA looked at it when they approved it for use. And obviously in thru-hiker packs, that's not how we're using it. And I do want to say, I used a smart water bottle for both of my thru hikes. They're convenient. They're so light. It is lighter than the Vesica. I understand the allure for sure. But it is not a product that's been looked at to see if it's safe to be used constantly for months on end.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd rather carry an extra few ounces than sacrifice my health.
And the environment too in that. Yeah. Because Wesley, you kind of stumbled upon this, right? With the smart water bottle just recently.
Yeah, I was just thinking about it. I'm like, it's made of plastic. And I feel like there are other alternatives that are probably a little bit more health friendly.
Yeah. And then when we were looking at CNOC, he was like, did you know they have this? I was like, I did not know that they had this.
And that's when I reached out to you.
Yeah.
When I found those Vesicas.
Yeah.
Now, I do want to differentiate that all these BPs, so BPA, SF, these are not what people are calling forever chemicals. So those are the PFAS. So that's a completely different thing. Did you want to talk on that at all, or how does that relate to TPU?
Now we're getting into where I feel less confident, but I'll do my best.
It's okay.
A lot of the studies that have come out recently, and a lot of the studies that are looking at these, like the effects of these kind of plastics, they're looking at them in kind of like, what happens if you put this piece of plastic on the ground and then you leave it forever, like you would if it was in a landfill? What does it do to like the ground that it's on? Like what is the impact on the environment of it sitting there for forever? And so a lot of the chemicals, which I think they are looking at phthalates, they're looking at kind of that side of things. And I think there is more information coming about its impact on our health. I did, in my sort of quick Googling, trying to make sure I was on the right page to talk to you about this. Apparently pretty much all human adults are peeing out phthalate at this point. It's found in like all human urine at this point. It is everywhere. And I do think there is a huge conversation to be had around our use of plastic. We really have gone to, our use of plastic as a society has become such a huge part of our lives relatively quickly. Like, plastic was not something that was manufactured 100 years ago, and now it's widespread. It's in our lives everywhere. We definitely do have a big societal reckoning, I think, coming about our use of plastic and its impact on our environment and our health. It's a huge conversation. I don't necessarily feel the most qualified to sort of like comment on that. I certainly do think that I think a lot of times we as consumers, it feels kind of futile, like to try to make choices that can protect us from this kind of thing. I mean, we know microplastics are everywhere. It just feels kind of a losing battle, so I might as well just use the smart water bottle. But I think we should be paying attention to these studies. These studies are important, and I absolutely recommend everyone reads them themselves. I do totally recognize that I'm here as a representative of a gear company that's trying to sell you something, and you should absolutely be suspicious of anyone who's trying to sell you something. So absolutely do your own research. But yeah, there is a huge conversation to be had about our use of plastic. What I can tell you is that TPU, compared to a lot of the plastics that are out there, is a relatively safe plastic.
Okay. So the big takeaway is CNOC products look to be a bit safer than your conventional water bottles that you would get at a gas station.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the takeaway here.
Just for like the fact that they are manufactured to be reusable, they're FDA approved to be reusable. Like PET is not looked at in that same lens.
Yeah.
Feels like a leaps and bounds of where we can go in society, that you even have a product available now that can make, people can make that choice to actually just that little small choice. That's what we've been talking about with the environment. How can we, like, it feels like you just said, it's such an astronomical feeling of like, this is huge. And what can we do in this little, micro space we have? But this is what we can do, is we can stop using smart water bottles, and we can use what you have. And I think that is a huge switch in just even a little, just making one choice. And like, we recycle, and we're trying to find ways in which we can clean the environment and help in our little spaces,
And I think we're seeing positive shifts because government regulations are changing from like waterproofing backpacking material, like raincoats, because they're learning more about these forever chemicals and kind of trying to push away from that a little bit.
Yeah. So I feel like it's encouraging. There are regulations and laws that are getting passed and legislation that we've been seeing this year going, wow, okay, something is happening here. So I'm really hoping that people will move more towards CNOC. And it's education too, right? Like, we didn't know that you had these products until a month ago, probably, the water bottle use, So I think it's getting that message out there to people, and people realizing, oh, you carry this. Okay, well then let's make it happen. So
yeah, absolutely. And I do think I think a lot of times when we're trying to make choices that benefit the environment or choices that benefit our health, we have like a very all or nothing attitude about it, where we feel like, okay, if I'm going to do this, I have to do this perfectly to like the umpteenth degree, and that's realistically not realistic. So just making the choices that you can make is absolutely something that you can do.
For sure. And I hate that it's this way, but I feel like to live and treat your body healthier, you have to pay more, because organic foods cost more.
It's so sad.
a smart water is $1.50, $2 versus a Vesica, which is around 20 plus. Like, I mean, it's reusable and you'll continue to use it, but it's a higher initial price tag.
But if you think about it, though, you do go through smart water bottles on a trail 6 months, probably. I mean, we probably bought, I didn't like my smart water bottles getting dirtier, and dirtier. So I always switched them out, I don't know, once a month. So if you think about it, you're actually probably paying the same amount. And then throughout the year and years, you're going to be saving money on a CNOC than over a smart water bottle in the long run, which is, I guess, if you think about it that way, versus instant gratification, which we live in the world of.
I mean, it's definitely true, but I also do think it is true, unfortunately, that a lot of the choices that are friendly to the environment, that are friendly to yourself, are the more expensive. And even if they are, even if they do end up being less expensive over time, the upfront cost is still there, which is it's less of an issue with a water bottle, but is going to be more of an issue with more expensive products that have a higher upfront cost.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, and I do want to emphasize, we are not sponsored by CNOC. We're not being paid to say any of this. These are our own opinions.
I am, so you should take everything I say with a grain of salt.
But we've used CNOC products for years, and when we found the CNOC bladder, like, it completely changed our life in the water filtration world. I will say that I'm a huge advocate of CNOC, and will stand behind CNOC 100%.
It's so damn hard to get water into some of those bladders with like the little 28 millimeter mouth hole. So it's been a game changer.
Yeah.
Okay, so we were in the weeds there, talking pretty scientific.
But I love it. I don't know these. Like I said, I like hearing you guys talk about it, because I'm like, what does that mean? But it's cool.
I was reading some study, and it said that they tested X number of newborns, and every single newborn had microplastics in them. That's just where we are, kind of touching on what you were saying. Like, it is in our environment. There are plastic stone hybrids washing up on shores. Like, plastic is just here.
That's so sad, man.
Yeah. Sorry, that was really loud. But
this is where he gets passionate.
Next question. Let's get out of those.
Next question. Weeds. Okay. Well, since we talked about CNOC and Diorite too, this is my question: is what do you use in your backpacking gear loadout for those products?
Yeah, so I obviously use a Vecto. I actually am not thru-hiking these days, so I mostly use a regular Vecto, not a Vecto X. I do obviously have a Vecto X, and I would take it. I don't know if I was maybe in like a deserty terrain, or if I was doing another long hike again. I do use vesicas. That is the swap that I no longer use smart water bottles, which I think they're handy because they also, if you're doing the gravity filter thing, because they collapse down, you can squeeze out the air and you don't need to kind of burp them or anything. I don't actually cook very often when I backpack, but I do use the Buke as a cold soak bag for my oatmeal in the morning. And I obviously use a pair of our poles. They are actually the CNOC branded ones, though. I don't have Diorite branded poles at this moment because I have a perfectly good pair of poles. So
there you go.
Yeah. How long would you say the use of the poles last normally? I mean, do they have like an average?
I don't know.
Darwin's using the OG poles.
In our manufacturing, we started manufacturing them in 2019. So if I don't think we've hit it yet.
Okay.
I do.
So they're still going.
Yeah, we do. A lot of thought went into their design in terms of making them repairable. So things that like wear out pretty quickly. Our tips are actually threaded on, and they have like a self-threading. So you can use any tip from any store, and it'll create threads in there to thread it on yourself. So tips, which are always the first thing to go, to replace not just the carbide tip, but the housing is pretty simple. We also do sell replaceable sections with the understanding that, you know, you can take a bad fall and put too much horizontal on a carbon fiber pole and you are going to snap it. So every part is sold. We sell literally every part of our pole. So you can buy everything from like just the grips, to just the straps, to just the screw that holds on our quick locks. You can buy it and replace it if you lose it or if just something happens to it.
Nice.
Okay, you said quick locks. Are they all collapsible or are some fixed?
Again, we're hoping to make fixed length poles at some point, but currently we do have our poles are collapsible.
Okay.
And yeah, they have the quick locks.
Oh, this is a great question. What impacts or contributions, including humanitarian programs, is CNOC working on or with other people for?
I love that you just said CNOC.
It's so easy to slip into. You know what I think it is that we often stylize it all caps, which I think makes it seem like it should be CNOC. Anyway,
damn it.
We're not stressed about it over here at all.
I just needed to troll him for a second.
Course. Thanks.
So we are a B Corp. So a lot of programs just sort of organically happen in order for us to maintain that certification. It's not something that you sort of get your stamp and then it's gone. You have to keep getting that certification. So we have to donate 20% of our. I say have to. We chose to do this. We want to be a B Corp. We donate 20% of our profits to nonprofits every year. They are changing the B Corp certifications, so we actually have done quite a few things in preparation to maintain our status, including we did life cycle analysis of all of our products. We did take the SME climate pledge, so we're looking at, I think it's having your carbon emissions by 2030 and going carbon neutral by 2050, and we're looking to do that. You can have a terrible environmental impact and then pay for a lot of offsets and meet that carbon neutral standard. We're trying to do it by just lowering our carbon emissions to begin with. We're a certified trail work crew, just our company, and we have an adopted section of the PCT in Table Mountain in Washington. So we maintain that section. You might see us there this summer if you're through hiking.
That's amazing.
Wow.
I wonder if we ran into you guys when we were in Washington, actually. Were you sponsoring it in 2022?
Yeah, we were. Yeah.
We just ran into the same PCTA cleanup crew like 5 times.
Well, we would just be in that section. So you would see us just around Table Mountain.
Okay.
That's amazing.
I think we missed you.
Yeah. No, I appreciate how I just want to like say this out loud. I know it's understood already, but I really appreciate how environmental like you guys are focusing on and trying to continue to help with the environment and people. I think that's a really big deal, and especially in gear world, because there's some bigger corps that, you know, have a lot of gear and they've done a lot that isn't good, and they are trying to now switch their worlds around. And I think that you guys, the fact that you've already looked into this before legislation ever got involved is a big deal. So I commend you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do want to say, as like an individual separate from CNOC and Minimal Gear at this point, it does mean a lot to me to be able to work for a place that, you know, I don't feel awful working at. That's obviously such a luxury that not everyone gets to experience.
For
yeah.
sure.
And again, you said that you source your materials and you produce your products in the U.S.
Yeah, so that is true for Diorite. It's not true for CNOC. It's not
Okay.
feasible at this point for CNOC.
Yeah.
Maybe someday. But plastic manufacturing is incredibly hard to source in the U.S.
Do here, yeah.
Gotcha.
But Diorite is, we source our products as much as humanly possible. I think like our cork grips, there's no manufacturing that we could find, and we hope to make them ourselves at some point so that we can onshore that process. But it just the onshoring that of the manufacture of the poles themselves was a tremendous process. I understand why not very many companies do it, because it is very much swimming upstream. It's not structured to be easy at this point in time. And a lot of times for us to, like, if we wanted to have those cork grips manufactured in the US, we would have to do it ourselves, which means onshoring an industry that doesn't currently exist in the US, and we are a small 5-person company. So it is certainly a challenge. But yeah, Diorite is manufactured in the US.
Awesome.
I
Well,
love
thanks
that.
for explaining that.
Yeah. Is there anything else, like, as we're wrapping up, is there anything else you'd like to share with our listeners or anyone that would listen to the podcast?
Katie had a 20-sided die that she liked to throw.
It doesn't have to be work related, but anything yeah.
I want to know how you got Gandalf.
Oh,
Well,
I can share how I got Gandalf.
Yes.
So I listen to headphones a lot while I hike. I listen to a lot of podcasts and a lot of music, and I was not hearing people come up behind me, so I was not letting them pass. And that is how I got Gandalf. And I love the name. I think it's great. They were originally going to call me Roadblock, and I was like, not creative enough for me. And they gave me Gandalf, and I was really happy with it.
That's amazing. Epic. We love Lord of the Rings. We have a little Gandalf, like a doll.
It guards the apartment.
It guards the apartment. It's like out, like looking out through a window. So Gandalf is awesome. That's so great. But is there anything else you do want to share that's heavy on your heart or anything?
No, I'll give you my best advice for thru hiking this year. If anyone's listening to this and they're about to thru hike, since it is the beginning of thru hiking season, I'll give you my very best piece of advice, which is you are on like 30 sequential 5-day backpacking trips. You are not on 100+ day backpacking trip. I think thinking of just the section you're in is like the key to thru hiking. At least it was for me. Don't think about the Sierra when you're in the desert. Just don't worry about it yet. Don't think about what are you going to make it to Washington in time when you're in Northern California. Don't think about it. Just focus on what you're doing in that moment.
Yeah, you have to give yourself like little mini goals.
Exactly.
Like the next town is your goal.
Exactly.
Or finishing that section.
That's such good advice, honestly, because I think that's how, because we're also ultra runners. And so doing like, in a big race, you can't think about the fact that you're doing 100 miles. You have to think about the fact that you're getting to the 7-mile aid station and then the 14-mile. And I think that really helped us on our first thru hike was like, okay, we're getting to the next towns. We're getting to Julian. We're getting to Idlewild. We're getting to, wherever was next. And that really, you're right. That's a real good, just simple mindset to keep in mind.
But now we're going to go slower because we're carrying these extra ounces from environmentally friendly TPU. No. What were you saying? I cut you off.
I was just going to say that's advice I give, not advice I took. Those were my mistakes when I was thru hiking. Yeah.
Well, I definitely, to be honest, I was definitely the one that was freaking out about getting to the end because I had budgeted. It took me 6 months, but I literally did mile to mile to mile to mile to mile. And I put it on an Excel spreadsheet with all the resupply towns, all the water sources for the PCT. and I budgeted all of our time out. which was not fun. Let's be honest. He was like, I need to take a 00 here. I'm dying. And I was like, no, we cannot take a 00. Like, we have to get to Washington before the fire. Like, it's just all these different things. And we did finish, and literally within 2 hours of them shutting down the trail because of the fires. But I think we would have gotten there anyway.
Yeah.
The mental process of not enjoying the journey. And I told Wesley, I said, our next long through hike, I just want to not do that. I just want to go. I just want to enjoy. I just want to get lost in nature, and be in it and enjoy an adventure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, thank you so much, Rebecca. Or Gandalf, I really appreciate just you taking the time to talk to us. This was so informative, and I love it. So thank you.
This is good, juicy stuff here.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, this is a conversation we've been having with a lot of folks individually lately. So to get a chance to share it with a larger number of folks. I do hope if any chemical engineers were listening to this, I hope I did okay. I'm not a chemical engineer.
Neither one of us are, but we're trying to explain it the best that we can.
Yeah. So. Yeah, for dummies is a better way of explaining it, I think, because I mean, not everybody's a chemical engineer.
So we'll get some links connected to you and to CNOC in the show notes here. Do you want to tell folks where they can find you?
So you can find me personally on my Instagram. It's Becky Booroo, which is Booroo. I will say there's a lot of pet content there over hiking content now, but I do have a couple of fun hikes planned this summer, so there will be something.
Cool.
In terms of CNOC, you can find CNOC at CNOC Outdoors. That's CNOC Outdoors. Diorite, you can find at Diorite Gear. We'll talk about when we have vesicas back in stock on our Instagram, so you can keep track of that there.
Perfect.
Awesome.
And we'll also have a link to where you can go and check out the CNOC website. There might even be a discount code in there. I guess we'll see. Yeah. And that was such a good interview with you, Becky. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
No, thanks for having me.
For sure. You have a great day.
Well, we hope you guys really enjoyed that episode. We really did. I loved it.
Yeah, it's kind of nice to talk on a different playing field than just like hiking and funny stories and stuff like that, but talking about some really relevant topics here, because we are in the what's called the Anthropocene epoch, which means that humans are here and we are inescapably affecting our planet more than any other factor on this planet can right now.
Just so everyone is aware, I don't know if we've ever told our listeners this, but Wesley is actually a legit, like, he got his his major in chemistry. He has a master's in public health, and he's going back to school right now and has like maybe a semester or two left of ecology and ecosystem science. So he does know what he's talking about. It's not like he's pulling this out of his ass or anything. Like, when he's talking through these things, it's because this is what he's studying or this is what he is learning constantly, which I love the perspective of this, because this isn't my world. So I ask him all the time these things that are happening to our planet.
Yeah. I could go on a very long tangent about climate change and global warming and how there's so much evidence that it's actually real. And so all the naysayers are just choosing to ignore obvious facts. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I won't go down that rabbit hole because I don't want to offend anybody right now. But if I did go down the rabbit hole and you're offended, don't listen anymore.
Just turn it off.
Just turn it off.
No, but this is a really great episode with Gandalf. She's such a gem and really is passionate about what she's doing and what CNOC is doing. Really minimal gear. And man, I really want to go and buy a ton of their products now that I didn't realize they had in Diorite. I'm definitely checking out their carbon. Their trekking poles, because I did not realize they had that. So so we hope you enjoyed it.
You know what I just realized?
What?
I just realized the only person on the PCT that I saw using a Vesica, so one of those CNOC water bottles, was Optimist.
Optimist!
Yeah.
I forgot that you had those.
Right? You were setting the trend before you knew it was a trend, buddy.
Yeah, you hipster.
I know.
Well, I really hope that people start going and buying those because we are definitely
So
getting some now that we know about it.
jump on the new stock, whatever it's released. Watch for it at the end of March.
Which is probably when this podcast is coming out. And we will have, clearly we have a discount code with this one. So please use it to be able to get them before you start your hike.
Yeah, and to that, we want to talk a little bit before we wrap things up here. We're going to talk about the bladder that we use now and how to really... What?
Sorry, we need to get another CNOC bladder because
we need to get another one.
We actually blew through ours. Yeah,
but we
used it so much.
But we do use the 2 and the 3 letter, the Vecto CNOC bladders, the 28 millimeter, because we use the little blue coupler that'll connect that CNOC mouthpiece to a Sawyer filter, and we could just do gravity hangs with it or just filter it, and it's just a lot. We prefer that to the Sawyer bags. Yeah. To be honest with you.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that the Vecto really allows you to collect water from hard to access sources, because it does have that sliding top, and you can make like a little mouth. And if you have a really poor water source with a low flow, you could definitely acquire water with that. But sometimes you might have to do some what we call gup engineering. You'll just gather up some little rocks and leaves, and you'll make a little mini like dam, which forces the water to flow at a smaller point, which gives you like a bigger, faster flow usually. And if you got to, stick a leaf in there as a little funnel.
The gup engineering, did we mention it yet in the podcast? Gup is this sweet man that we got to thru hike with in SoCal, and he's got to be in his like late 60s, I think, or mid 60s.
Yeah.
And he was an engineer, and there was this one specific water source that was just horrible in SoCal, but we had nothing else for the next like 20 probably miles.
Yeah.
And he created this little dam with the leaves, and he just did something so cool so we could all get a trickle from it. It was very brilliant.
It was.
So gup engineering.
Gup engineering.
Yeah.
And one last thing I'll say about this is know your water source. So ideally, you want to get water from inlets that feed into larger bodies of water, especially if the larger body of water is close to a road, because a lot of these filters, like Katie was saying, they filter out like all these pathogens, but they can't filter out metals. And heavy metals are something that can be found in water sources close to roads. So just be aware of where you're pulling your water from. And again, if you could pull from smaller inlets that feed into bigger bodies of water, I would definitely recommend that instead of like pulling from the Animus or some larger body of water here, like I actually saw on the Colorado Trail. I had a guy warn me about pulling from that water.
Wait, what?
Yeah, on the Colorado Trail, the dude, he was like, yeah, pull from some of the little inlets feeding into the Animus, but not the Animus because it follows the highway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Here, heard.
Heard.
Well, don't we have a few of our listeners and also Tramley people that shared their water source?
Oh, they gave testimonies on the water filters that they used on some of their hikes.
Yeah, so give those a listen right now as we... I don't know how to transition that.
So testimonies coming in 3, 2, 1.
So I originally was using the Cat9 Be Free and not the Sawyer Squeeze, and I thought I had my reasonings that made sense at the time. The Cat9 Be Free is smaller, lighter, and cheaper than the Sawyer. So I knew at the time like it wouldn't last as long because it is not a back flushable filter. Even though like you could back flush it, you're not supposed to. So there's some risk there. So I knew it wouldn't last as long. But my argument was, oh hey, it's cheaper and lighter and stuff. So if I have to replace it more often, still probably is like equivalent. That is until I tried the Sawyer Squeeze. So I bought one on trail because that's what was available. And I'm a convert, like 100%, because I didn't realize because of that back flush ability, the Sawyer Squeeze lasts not just a little longer than the Be Free. It lasts like many times longer, like 3 times as long, 4 times as long, maybe 5 times as long, maybe, because you're filtering water sources on trail. They're rarely pristine, and so the Cat9 would clog. It flows so good when it's new, unreal, and then it clogs pretty fast And there really is nothing you can do about it. They say you can swish it in the water. That does basically nothing. So as soon as it goes downhill, like, you have to replace it. So it's not cheaper enough to be worth that. So the Sawyer is like a way better value. Also, the thread diameter on the Cat 9 is like 42 millimeters, and so it doesn't fit a lot of stuff. It only really fits stuff that's, unless you get lucky, it only fits stuff that's built for that filter, which on trail can be a problem, because if your bag tears or whatever, you'd be hard-pressed to find something else, on the trail, which that in itself is enough to seal the deal for me. But the Sawyer Squeeze has the 28 millimeter, I think it is, which is like smart water size. It's freaking everywhere. So that reason alone would be enough. But also for the $10 more, it lasts literally like 300% longer, 400% longer. So that's why I switched, and I'm a huge believer in the Sawyer Squeeze at least over that Cat 9 Be Free.
Hello. This is Cuppa. So on the topic of water filters, so I have only ever used two different types of water filters. One's the Sawyer Squeeze, which I think is the most popular one on trail that I've seen. And the other was the Platypus Quick Draw. Another is similar, really, really similar to the Sawyer, but it's just like one where you screw onto the bottles. So I use smart water bottles and whatever other bottles I could get my hands on as well that would fit onto it. And then the Sawyer I use for the PCT, and I actually found it was brilliant in the end. It lasted the whole 6 months, so I was so impressed with it. The only thing with it, though, was that all the little bits that come with it, like the little screw-ons on the top and stuff, I found that I broke them really easily. They didn't last too long, but the actual main shell of the squeeze, the big black bit, I think it's bomb-proof. And the plastic bit on the bottom of that never wore down, so it never leaked water for the entire trip. Honestly, it just worked perfectly. I think it'd been a year then or so since I left the trail, and I started doing some other hiking in Europe again. So I swapped to a different brand called Platypus, and their filter called the Quick Draw. This one actually looks a bit more swanky. I think it was about 50 quid, something similar. But it feels way sturdier. I did have some problems with it though. I think it's a different size to the Sawyer for the how the Sawyer fits the smart water bottles. The Platypus one, I think it's slightly smaller. So when I went to like twist the other bottles on to filter with, it actually broke the bottom of it. Like, I think it was way less durable. And as soon as I twisted it on, the plastic cracked. And it actually left it completely useless because then it was leaking water. So, yeah, just take note. If you do go for a Platypus, make sure the bottle that you're twisting onto it fits perfectly. If it's slightly off, don't force it and be an idiot like me because it'll cost you 50 quid. Another one is O-rings. I don't know a single hiker that's not had a sob story about losing an O-ring at some point, or just them breaking, or just being too squishy inside of the filter. I think if you screw down too hard sometimes, it doesn't quite work right and it starts to leak. So I actually went to probably the equivalent of what you call it is like a hardware store, or maybe like a fishing tackle shop, something like that. Just picked up a small O-ring that fit inside of it perfectly. It was a bit harder, and that lasted the whole trail. So either pick up a new one or simply just carry spare O-rings with you, because you never know. I think I bent over a waterfall once and looked back up to screw it on, and it just disappeared. So shout out to that fish that's now got a nice necklace wherever you are.
So I mostly use a Sawyer Squeeze. I think I used a Katahdin at one point, but realistically, I'm mostly here because I really want to say that you don't always need a filter. If you're drinking from a small stream, especially if you can see the top of the mountain where the water came from, or if the water just came out of the ground, odds are pretty good nothing's pooped in it. So there's a really good chance that there's not actually any germs in there that you need to worry about. And everywhere I know that's had Giardia says that is not the opinion that you should take on it. But also, I haven't had Giardia, so just use common sense. And if you're tired and you really, really think that stream is probably fine, odds are good you're right.
Cool. Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode, everyone. Great interview with CNOC. We got a few testimonies from some of our fellow thru-hikers.
Yeah, thank you.
We wanted to give a huge shout out here to The Fire What's Lost for our
Thank
intro and
you.
our outro, as always. New album out called Bannerman. Go check it out.
Super good.
Super good. Yeah, I think that's all we have to say today.
I think that's it. Stay tuned for our next episode. We're still chugging along, so
Still
yeah.
chugging along.
Yeah. Well, we hope you guys enjoy. Oh, and find our social media accounts and our if you have anything you want to say to us or whatnot, Yeti Walks into Basecamp at gmail.com.
Bingo.
And then our new Instagram account, Yeti Walks into Basecamp. Please follow. DM us with any questions, anything you want to share. We love sharing what you guys are thinking, because if you're thinking it, a lot of people are thinking it. So
Yeah, we love to answer listener questions on it.
yeah, so please subscribe, please like. We love getting to hear from you. Thank you so much for listening and following. We really appreciate you guys.
Yep. And if you want to help fund future episodes of Yeti Walks into Basecamp, you can always subscribe to our podcast on either Spotify or our Patreon, which can be found in our link tree. Just go to bio in our Instagram.
Yeah, we're really trying to get this a little better. So more professional, quote unquote, sounding. So yeah, so if you'd like to help out, we would love it as well.
Yep.
All right.
Well, thank you. And as we like to say in the hiking community,
Happy trails.